Di pa man nakakaupo si President-elect Rodrigo Duterte, kumikilos na kaagad ang kanyang peace panel para makipag-usap sa mga komunista at tutukan ng pagpapakawala ng mga bihag ng bandidong grupong Abu Sayyaf. Ano nga ba ang ginagawang hakbang ng kampo ni Duterte? Kaugnay ng mga isyong ito, makapanayam natin si incoming peace advisor Jesus Dureza. Magandang umaga po, incoming Secretary Dureza.
Mas maganda ka pa kaysa umaga, Howie.
Ay, nako, salamat. Talagang dati kayong press secretary at spokesman ng ilang pangulo. No? So yung ibang secretary kasi, they intend to hit the ground running. You're already running, na? Kumikilos na kayo. Parang very visible na kayo.
Hindi naman, even while I was in the private sector, no, after I left the government of President Gloria Arroyo, I'd continued my linkage with my work in Mindanao, pero in the private capacity. And I was doing it under the Mindanao Advocacy Foundation Incorporated. So, walang pagbabago.
So you bring in kind of this wide network already, ano? Kaya rin kayo siguro kinuha para dito sa trabahong ito.
Kinuha ni President Rudy?
Yes.
Hindi ako makatanggi. Kaibigan ko.
At saka, you go way back, no?
Yeah, but you know, if I had a choice, I would not have probably been... I probably would not choose this job here. No? I've been here before.
Bakit?
Mahirap tungkol.
Of course.
Akala mo madali ito.
Hindi. I never thought.
Mahirap ito at expectations are very high and that's a big problem for us. But with Duterte presidency, baka may mga magawa tayo na hindi nagawa before.
At tulad ng what kind of change is coming when it comes to the peace process?
Ano ba change yan? Sinsilyo ba ng pera yan? Change na?
Ransom na ba yung pinag-uusapan natin?
Alam mo, knowing him, I knew him even from high school.
Okay.
And I think he will really exercise great political will. And probably will even spend a lot of political capital just to achieve one of the dreams that we had always wanted, which is relative peace in Mindanao and relative peace in the whole country. Yun lang, hindi ito madali. Ibig ko mong pasabi lahat sa lahat, no?
Okay, why did you use the word relative doon sa peace? Usually, people want to bring peace.
No,
pero
the real peace
relative peace lang.
real peace is in the graveyard, eh.
Okay.
Diba? Wala ka nang iisipin, peaceful.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace ka na.
So
relative peace means compared to others, probably we have a better peace architecture in place.
Under the incoming
Duterte administration. Yun nga lang, sabi ko nga sa lahat, huwag naman natin sigurong isipin na madali ito. I've been there before, you know.
Yes, of course. Yun nga, kaya tinatanong ko, what will you be doing differently?
Oh, I will probably be doing the same thing, except that with a Duterte presidency nga, who will probably do out-of-the-box actions and many other ways that probably previous presidents did not do, probably it will help.
Okay.
Move. Alam mo kasi sa peace negotiations, when you deal with rebel groups, may mga bottom line advocacy sila o principles na hindi nila pwedeng i-give sa iyo. Di ba? On the side of government, we cannot also give what is beyond the Constitution and our laws. How do you find a balance now and between these two extremes? That's where you have to be very creative, out of the box, and you need the support of the public. Alam mo, napakahalaga, like we are negotiating, but don't think that we are negotiating just between negotiators and the other side of the table. Mahalaga yung support ng publiko so that they will buy into what we are doing. They're willing to understand and accept maybe hard concessions that we have to give. Mahirap yun.
Tulad ng yung conditions po, usually ang ini-impose ng CPP, NPA, at least in the past, no? They wanted their so-called peace consultants who are now considered political prisoners or detainees released so they can participate in the process.
Necessary naman yung kung meron silang mga miyembro ng CPP, NPA, na nakakulong at kailangan nila in the peace negotiations, why should we stop them from availing of the services of their comrades? And that's the reason why we have the so-called JASIG, the Joint Agreement on Immunity and Safety Guarantees, napirmahan na yan in the previous administrations. hindi pa yan nabigyan ng effectivity. And that's the reason why it's very important that to have some kind of an earnest and sincere parang dating on both sides. On the side of government, we have to comply with previously signed agreements. JASIG had been signed before, and it will allow members of the Communist Party of the Philippines opportunity to participate in the negotiations. Hindi mo naman pwedeng makipag-negotiate na nasa kulungan yun sila. So that's part of probably what could move immediately the peace process forward.
Okay, ano sa tingin nyo? Bakit hindi umusad masyado nung panahon ni President Aquino?
I cannot, I was not privy to what they've done before, so I'd rather not comment one way or the other. No?
Okay, but you were aware na merong back-channeling noon na supposedly nagkaroon na ng agreement, no? It was facilitated, or there was going to be an agreement between the government and the CPP and PA, facilitated by a third party.
Yes.
Kasi lumabas na rin to sa media, no? Yung international alert, mga Pilipino rin kasama ng mga... of course, that's an international organization, pero may mga Pilipino rin na kasama dyan. They were been working very hard on this. In fact, they were also going to Norway and kind of meeting with...
I learned about this only when I started meeting now.
Yes.
So I have no way of commenting.
And sila Joma Sison also were kind of involved in that. And then hindi raw pinirmahan ng Pangulo. Nung...
I had no information. I cannot also evaluate or assess one way or the other. But I can tell you, when we met with Joma Sison there, with Louis Halandone, Fidel Agkawili, and the rest in Oslo several weeks ago, iba yung vibes eh. Iba yung parang, it was like a reunion of old friends. Although we've been there before, no?
Mukhang masaya nga yung video na lumabas sa TV. Parang,
at saka, parang like, there are many things. The indicators should be what we agreed upon preliminarily, no? Dahil we had to set the agenda item for the forthcoming formal. We were not yet in office, so we cannot even commit to anything except very unofficially. So, ang tawag nun exploratory talks, okay? They committed to even discuss on the table an interim ceasefire, okay? That's a big jump from where we were before, and I was part of that old government, previous governments. Dahil noon, pag na-mention mo palang ceasefire across the table, magkukollapse na yung talks eh.
Pero anong conditions doon? What were they asking for? May concessions ba silang hinihingi?
Yan pa ang pag-usapan. Maging agenda item in the forthcoming July meeting the third week.
Okay.
Okay, so pag-usapan pa yan.
Okay. Okay, a more immediate concern, itong Abu Sayyaf, no? May mga bihag pa sila, may pinakawalan recently, itong si Flor, no? Si Marites Flor. Okay. Ano bang proseso dyan? Okay, you wanted to distinguish, no? Between negotiations with the left, which is a more sweeping negotiation, no? Mas malalim yon kaysa dito sa Abu Sayyaf, which is really more very specific ang objective dyan, no? Ma-release lang yung
we negotiate with the Abu Sayyaf in the context of saving lives. Di ba? So, yung kasing Kites getting her recently, in my involvement personal, it started 9 months ago when they got these 4 hostages. At isa kasi doon kaibigan ko. Yes, si John Ridgedale is a very close friend with the family. And
your family?
My family, yes. Okay. Because we had naging ninong yan siya doon sa kasal ng anak ko, isa. At we even spent time together in Europe with some members of my family. Okay. And he also sent his daughters to us there in Davao.
Ganon kayo ka-close pala?
Kaya hindi alam ng publiko. Kaya I really worked hard to get him, save him. And even helped his daughter, who came all the way from Europe, to negotiate. Wala kalaki ng amount hinihingi.
Pero halimbawa, sir, yung ganon, you were a private citizen then, but you were actually, he was a very close friend of yours. Ano yung pwedeng gawin ng isang private citizen katulad yun? Now, very well connected in government and in the local community. Paano makakatulong yung katulad ninyo doon?
Hoy, hindi nga umubra dahil pera lang gusto nila. They were asking for something so extremely high that the family cannot really afford it. No ransom policy tayo sa gobyerno. Even in my private capacity, I don't want to be involved in ransom negotiations. But the daughter was there to offer a little amount to bring back the father. Unfortunately, it was malayong-malayo doon sa nahihingi nila.
Okay, pero kung may no ransom policy, ano naman ang leverage or options aside from the military
Well,
option?
in the case of Marites Flor, and I got it only from Sakur Tan, former governor of Sulu, siya yung nakausap ko kasi in the last hour to help. Dahil when I was in Oslo kasi, I'd like to give a little background. In the talks with CPP and PNDF, nakausap ako ng foreign minister nila, Minister Brandy. And I was able to establish a phone conversation between him and President-elect Rudy Duterte at the time. So isang napag-usapan na kung pwedeng tumulong si President Rudy, although not yet in office, for the release of the Norwegian Jartan. Yun. So while I was still in Oslo, I was already calling friends and contacts.
Ano napag-usapan nila? May I ask kung ano napag-usapan nila with
the
the
president?
Norwegian foreign minister and the
It was,
president-elect? Was just a courtesy call or?
No, it was to congratulate President-elect Rudy first, for President Rudy to also thank the Norwegians for continuing as facilitators in the peace negotiations. Sila kasi official facilitator natin.
Yeah.
And of course, yung appeal for assistance for the recovery of the Norwegian.
Oh, nga, coincidentally nga, Norwegian yung hostage. And
yes,
you were there
yes.
for another reason.
Correct. We were there for the Oslo Forum, actually, that I had always been attending, but they decided to invite Joma Season so that we could talk, informally in the sidelines. So yun, we were fortunate to get, and it was Governor Sakurtan who helped out in getting. But this is probably also a mixture of what had been happening on the ground. To the credit of the military ongoing operations, according to them, had also been a factor in convincing them to probably let go of the Filipino hostage.
Okay, nung inuwi niyo si Marites Florida sa Davao, no?
Yes.
I mean, you sat with her, you accompanied her, you had a chance to talk, no? May binanggit daw siya sa inyo tungkol sa connivance between the Abu Sayyaf and the local community. Ano ba yung mga naobserbahan niya na ikinwento sa
Marami
inyo?
siyang sinabi. I talked with her for about an hour and a half on the plane going back. And then I'll probably talk again with her after na maka-recover na siya. She's back with her family now. Marami siyang sinabi. Like, for example, they are mobile every day. May military operations din ongoing. So they have to be mobile. May mga areas na pupuntahan nila, yung mga members of the community will even provide them the security cordon around them to protect the hostages and also the hostage takers.
In which towns were these?
No, he could not identify.
Hindi niya alam.
Hindi niya alam.
Pero hindi naman siya nilipat ng isla.
Wala, but all mobile lang sila, naglalakad. For 9 months, they're mobile. Maghihinto lang sila kung walang military operations in the vicinity. Karamihan ng community members, they also benefit from it. Dahil pag may pera daw makukuha from some other ransom sources, hati-hati yan. May pamigay lahat sa mga tumutulong. In other words, naging kabuhayan na rin ang iba. In the community. That's why we cannot deal with this situation just sinasabi ng iba, bubumbahin na lang yun, atakin na lang natin yun, There's a community around it, and you have to address the reasons why they are also involved in that way. They're isolated, they're very poor, they don't have schools there, there is no government there, they have not felt the presence of government. So, kailangan siguro i-address din yan. Hindi lang yung terrorist doon. You can isolate therefore the communities who are there because of the situation from the bad guys, really, who have probably to be
And what
dealt
island
with
are we talking
accordingly.
about? Just to verify lang.
Ano yan?
Ayun, nasan silang isla noon? Itong si
Nasa Sulu sila.
which island there? Was it
Where
Polo
they-
itself
he-
or maraming
they-
isla kasi Sulu eh?
Oh, walang isla. I think they were in the mainland of Sulu.
Okay.
And Patikol, may mga pangalan siya sinabi.
Patikol is
but
is
sa kanya, ano yun eh.
Polo itself eh.
Parang ano niya, parang hindi niya ma-identify yung mga areas, So, I asked her, kung saan. Sabi niya, malalaman lang niya kung makakabalik siya uli. Then she can identify this area.
Okay, this has been treated as mainly a military problem, no? So,
Yes.
tingin nyo, I mean, nagkulang ang militar dyan.
Hindi, it's a military problem, but then you have to deal with the environment also. Hindi lang military solution. Kasi kung military lang yan, matagal na yang tapos eh. But you know, even operationally, they have the protection of the people in the community. They're being protected. They master the terrain, di ba? They are on high ground. Kaya kita mo, nawawalo parating military natin pag may pumasok eh.
So it's not, you know, Jolo is not that big a place. So bakit hindi nga ma-deliver ng...
Sulu. It's
Well,
not
Sulu.
only Hulu.
Okay.
Sulu.
Okay,
The
but-
whole province of Sulu.
Alright, but we're referring to where she was
Tingnan
kept
mo, pag
hostage.
tingnan mo
no?
yung... Pag nasa Sulu ka, tingnan mo, that's a very high ground there, forestal area that will host any of these hostile groups safely.
Okay, pero ang sinasabi nyo, yung ugat ng problema dyan, kaya may Abu Sayyaf dyan, yung talagang malalim yung kahirapan.
Well, hindi natin sabihin din dahil yung iba dyan talaga pera-pera lang yan. They find this as a very lucrative way of earning money and
Yes.
they go, you know,
Well, true.
they even terrorize people by beheading.
Correct.
Di ba?
So,
I mean,
yes,
you know.
of course. Bandits will be bandits anywhere. Pero ang
yes,
sinasabi nyo kasi,
yes.
may community na sumusuporta sa kanila.
Correct.
And they're the ones that you think should be assisted.
They
and-
should be isolated from these bad guys. you
Exactly.
know?
So-
and probably yun siguro ang bali entry point natin. While you deal with a hard fist, iron fist way with the bad guys, you have to deal with the community out there. These are Filipinos.
Yes, of course.
These are, alam mo, ang alam daw, sabi ni Marites, sabi niya, Sir, may mga bata pa ron na gumagwardya sa amin na may mga baril, 12 years old. Imagine. Tapos kinakausap niya. They have no other life they know. They don't have schools there. They don't have facilities. They're just poor. And then, nakikibahagi sila kung may kita yung mga kidnappers.
May napansin ba siya mga dayuhan?
Meron siyang isang dayuhan, aside from kay Jartan, she mentioned a Dutch fellow who had been there for many, many years ahead of her.
As a hostage?
As a hostage. And then sabi lang niya,
Many years?
mga 4 years and a half na raw yun. At
Ito ba
sa
yung birder?
Dutch-
Yung bird watcher?
No.
Iba pa?
It's a certain, I don't know the name, but meron siyang sinabing pangalan. I'll go
No,
back
pero,
to my files.
so magkakasama sila?
Andun na siya ngayon, parang na-immerse na siya doon dahil nag-Islam na, nag-convert na.
But when they were moving around, sabi nyo nga, halos araw-araw, nililipat-lipat
Sumasama
sila.
siya, sumasama.
They were, all the hostages were in one group?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
but-
Nakaposas daw sila? O? Hindi,
Well,
hindi
ang
naman.
sabi lang niya, dahil sa araw, nag-move sila, libre sila. Pag matulog sila every night, tinatalian yung paa nila to avoid them from escaping. Baka nakatulog na yung gwardya.
Okay, correct.
That's why nang ginising daw siya nung alas 2 ng umaga on the day that she is going to be turned over. Sinabihan siya, sige, tanggalin mo na yung tali mo sa paa mo. Sabi niya, bakit? Ihatid ka namin, uwi ka na.
Yun lang. She didn't, okay.
And she wanted to talk to Jartan, yung Norwegian na kasama niya, kasama sila. Nakalatag lang kasi sila sa lupa at may canvas lang na nilalatag para matulog sila whenever they're outdoor. You know?
Nakausap ba niya?
Hindi niya nakausap at the time when she left dahil early dawn natulog pa yata eh.
Kumusta raw yung kalagayan ni Jartan?
She was okay, sabi niya. It was okay, but
Healthy,
still very hopeful. May diarrhea lang daw dahil sa tubig. You know? They drink all wala silang bottled water doon.
yung mga kasamahan ng Abu Sayyaf, may dayuhan ding may dayuhan na kasama like terrorist from another country.
Wala siyang sinabi. Yung sinabi lang niya yung Dutchman who had been there all the time.
Dutchman.
Oo.
Okay.
Yes. Marami pa akong information although I cannot disclose it publicly, you know. Because
Not yet.
some of them have tactical value to our soldiers and our police officers.
Well, thank you for sharing what you did. At salamat po sa inyong accessibility. Kahit hindi pa kayo nakaupo, Incoming Secretary Jess
No, we have to be
Dureza.
very transparent dahil, you know, maybe this will be my last word before I go. Nagulat ka sila when we went to Oslo na may media coverage even inside our meeting rooms. You know? Dahil I came from there, you know, those days where we had to keep secret meetings, clandestine meetings, backroom meetings, at hindi alam ng publiko, although it had some tactical value in the negotiations, but at the end of the day, you need public support to what you do. And then if you keep secrets from them, you will have a difficulty getting ownership from the public and understand what you're doing. So maybe a little change in the peace process right now would be very transparent.
Okay, well, that's one change.
So you're in business.
Ay, salamat po. Beneficiary kami dyan. Maraming
Yes.
salamat po, incoming Peace Advisor
Thank you.
Jesus Dureza.
Salamat.
Thank you very much.